I am excited to be here with you today on this beautiful day. Today is Heritage Day, and I wanted to read here what this scripture says because it's so beautiful. Like a raging river, the past flows into the present. Lo, this river carries all good and bad things of previous generations and deposits both upon the shore of the present, which is your shore. Yea, the sins of your ancestors are present in your blood, as the sins of past cultures are present in your customs. Embrace the helpful things of previous generations, but reject the hurtful. And pray that you pass on better things to the next generation. So, the midday contemplation of peace says, our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. May wisdom guide us as we accept or reject things from the past. May your angel of wisdom bless all that we pass on to the future. I talked a little bit about last week about how I am really passionate about new family traditions starting with me. And obviously, starting off just from very, very early in the beginning, I believe that even when it comes to conception, it should be more along the lines of the Megillah and the Immaculate Conception, where parents are both purifying themselves and trying to conceive in a spiritualized way. It's not just a mishap or an unplanned thing. It's an intentional divine coming together of two souls on a physical and a mental and emotional and spiritual level to create this child. And in the Megillah, it talks about how, even just a first generation, us people that come from corrupted bloodlines of all of these eating flesh, religions that are not in line with the true God and Goddess, different customs and ways of being that we have all grown up in. It's important to consider these things and figure out what of those we are taking along with us into the future. But it was saying that even those that have been corrupted, all of us, if we intend to get on this path, if we purify ourselves, even from us being the first of our family to walk in the order of the Immaculate Conception, that we can also still birth babies that are just very spiritually gifted and in tune. These babies are far more beautiful and higher than the standard of what we are even normal or accustomed to as humans. The scriptures say that Christ and Miriam were both from at least 6 generations deep of this Immaculate Conception. So purifying like so many layers deep of it's just really awesome to think about. And I'm really excited that I am in a position where I am awake, and I wouldn't say none of us are fully awake, but I'm awake to the fact at least that new family traditions do get to start with me, and I'm questioning all of these things from birth till the end. From the conception, like I was saying, being more pure and intentional and spiritualized based on more spiritual practices and tantric practices, ancient sexual practices that are spiritual and holy and very connecting, designed to connect us and to uplift us spiritually, rather than just the basal level sexual experiences that the majority of people are having. Even further than that, questioning the medical industry, not taking prenatal vitamins. You don't need ultrasounds. A lot of these, if not all of these things, are actually designed to harm you and your child, because the ones that are running this world, the order of the parasites, the serpent seed, the order of the serpents that's running this place, have a bunch of traps set up to harm us, and the medical industry is their baby. Anything from ultrasounds and vaccines and the stuff that they wipe in their eyes, C-sections. A lot of these things are completely just torturous methods of harming humanity and hurting our immune system and getting us to be really is harmed as possible as soon as possible. So questioning these things is really important. Then homeschooling, when we think about how our children should be raised and if they should be in this cookie cutter curriculum or raised by complete strangers who do not have their best interests at heart. I posted recently Miriam's advice or 12 teachings on motherhood, and the first one is that a mother's sole responsibility is to be with her child and take care of her child. And I definitely resonate with all of those teachings. So if you haven't seen those, I will post them here on my community page after we get off of here. But it's really beautiful, and it's really, like I said, exciting that we get to live in a time where we can question these things and make different choices. We don't have to go along with the programming of, oh, you get married and then you have this job, and having a child is kind of like an inconvenience in your climb of the corporate ladder. And, they just want to detach the mother and child as soon as possible. So a lot of these things are just really fundamental in how I am going to choose to raise my children, and it's unfortunate that the generations before us have not done that, but we should extend them grace and love and forgiveness in what they have, done, because they were probably just trying to do the best that they could, and under all of these different programs and agendas that we might have broken out of, our parents haven't. So maybe they vaccinated us, maybe they did send us to school when we should have been homeschooled. I think that being forgiving of them and loving in that is really important, but also just being courageous enough to stand against the generations past and all of these traditions to form a new path. Like, we don't have to go along with it. We don't have to celebrate the same things. We don't have to eat the same things. We don't have to believe the same things. We don't have to live the same way just because that's how we were raised. So it's really cool that these scriptures also talk about those exact things, and I hope that that is encouraging to you. David D says, I'm here. We can be first in our families to purify. Exactly. And I just also love, like I was saying in those Immaculate Conception teachings, that they're encouraging about even us as first generations. Like, we have the opportunity to have those special connected kids as well. And that's not to say that the kids of this world aren't special and connected, but when you actually conceive a child in the spiritual way, when you guys are purifying and you're having that tantric experience that's uplifting to the soul, what is attracted to that womb, to that body, is a very high uplifted vibrating soul, as opposed to, if you also read the Megillah or the story of Adam and Eve, as I've read to you before, it talks about how Azazel, or Iblis as I was calling him, told Adam to rape Eve, and then says, that the soul that would be attracted to that very low vibrational evil experience would be evil, right? It matches the experience that happens. And that's, not to say that, like, people will try to say, oh, like, if a child was conceived by rape, that it should be aborted because it'll be evil. No one is doomed or cursed to anything based on their DNA. We all have free will and can change. Obviously, if you're born into those situations, like the bloodlines that rule our family, it's going to be probably harder for them to wake up to certain things because of their different type of programming. But look at the mainstream Christians. It's very hard for them to break out of their programming as well. So it's really not a blood or a DNA or any of that, like, physical type thing. It's really about the soul inside, and all of us have free will. We all have the opportunity, being alive still, that we can essentially see all of our mistakes of the past and start to choose to do better. We can choose to make choices and have thoughts and feelings and emotions and words that rise us up the golden ladder of existence and get us closer to those heavenly realms, rather than going along with the programming and sinking further and further down into depths of darkness. So I hope that you will take these words into consideration. May wisdom guide us as we accept or reject things from the past. May your angel of wisdom bless all that we pass on to the future. It really is so important, because children are a blank slate. They don't come in here like, okay, well, I was going to say they don't come in here knowing anything, but that's technically not true, because a baby, especially that is conceived and born under certain circumstances is going to be very connected on a soul level through their pineal gland, just knowing a lot more than they are today. But what I was going to say is that they don't come in knowing all of these various things, behavior. They don't come in knowing religious things. They don't come in having these political ideas and different ideas like that they are taught. And it's really important as parents, future parents in my case, that we take that job really seriously, because we're raising the future generation of this world, and that future generation can either continue on the death and destructive path that we're all on, or we can raise a beautiful future that is full of peace and kindness and gentleness towards humans and animals. We can live where in City Park we could have food just growing here for free, where everyone is just happy and thriving, and the world is a better place. Together we can make that come true. We don't need to wait for future generations, although they're important. It starts with us, and on a daily basis, the things that we can do by going vegan and spreading the word and doing acts of kindness, trying to do these meditations of peace and bring peace into ourselves and also into the world around us. So I hope that you have a wonderful day. I will try to catch up with you later, if not tomorrow at noon, for the contemplation of peace. I hope that you have a wonderful day. May God and the Goddess bless you.